Good afternoon. I want to welcome you to another segment of the Jermaine Brown Sports Talk Show. Today is Wednesday, January the 4th, 2023. I want to start off by wishing everyone a happy and prosperous new year. Today's topic is going to be about, oh boy, and it's tough, but it's going to be about Lamar Jackson and Damar Hamlin, and what does the two have to do with each other? Now, we're going to have a little frank discussion here. What happened to Damar Hamlin this past Monday was scary. Here is a man who was battling for his life, fighting for his life because he could not breathe. His heart stopped, and he went into what they call cardiac arrest off of a hit that is a normal hit, actually. The hit, it wasn't, but they called it a blunt force to the chest at the wrong opportune moment, wrong opportune time, because they use the word right, but I prefer to call it wrong opportune moment, wrong opportune time, that caused his heart to stop, and he collapsed, and they had to administer CPR and then do the AED and stuff like that, and then take him to the hospital, and he's still looking to recover from it. Now, what does this have to do with Lamar Jackson? And really, not just Lamar Jackson, but I'm talking about every player in the NFL. Because, see, they are the least paid of all the professional athletes. And I'm talking about the four major sports: baseball, football, basketball, hockey. They are the least paid, yet they take on the most risk. Because unlike those other sports, their money is not guaranteed. Most of the money that they sign, when you hear guys sign a $260 million deal, that's what the media reports, but they don't tell you how much of it. It's the guaranteed portion is the part you got to focus on. Like Kyler Murray signed a $250 million deal or something crazy like that, but it only 180 of it is guaranteed. Now, still 180 million is still a lot of money, but that doesn't compare to the 260 that he allegedly signed. Now, why do I bring that up? Because you see, unfortunately, you look at a guy like Lamar Jackson, who's one of the top quarterbacks in the game. He was the last pick in his draft. And Deshaun Watson, who wasn't in the same draft, he came out like a year or two earlier, but he got a fully guaranteed $230 million deal. And you should see how the media railed against him and the Cleveland Browns, Jimmy Haslam and them, for giving him that kind of a deal. And I say, first of all, my hat's off to Jimmy Haslam. He did the right and the correct thing. If you want an asset, you pay for it. And he gave him top dollar. That was what it took to get Deshaun Watson. Now, Lamar Jackson actually is a little bit more accomplished. As much as I love Deshaun Watson, he's actually a little bit more accomplished because he has something Deshaun Watson doesn't have. A league MVP, but more importantly, a unanimous league MVP. So that's very important. So Lamar Jackson is being reported to be asking for at least a fully guaranteed deal in that neighborhood, 230 to 250. And his owner, Steve Bisciotti, is pushing back on it. And Steve Bisciotti made it clear he did not like the fact that Jimmy Haslam gave Deshaun Watson that deal. And see, a lot of people is like, oh, is he really worth X amount? How dare we talk about what a player is worth, especially when they're the ones who's putting their body and their careers and their lives on the line? Because let's keep it real. Even if you have a long, productive career, like let's say take Tom Brady. Brady's been playing since the early 2000s. He's now what, mid-40s? But what happens when his playing days is over? You know he's not going to live very long. If he lives to his 70s, he's fortunate. Because most NFL players who play this sport and who plays it for any length of time don't live but for so long after they play the game. This is why they're dying in their 40s, their 50s, and their 60s. Because why? The toll that takes on their body is too much. The drugs that they pump into these guys' system is too much. Yeah, they pump all this drugs into these guys' systems so they can get on the football field and perform. But it comes with a price later on that you're going to end up paying. But the NFL doesn't pay that price because the NFL is called churning them and burning them. They just move on to the next person. And so if I'm Lamar Jackson, I'm not stepping on that field for anything less than a fully guaranteed deal. I don't care what the amount is, it has to be fully guaranteed. Because this is unacceptable. And I'm not going to allow nobody to blame, shame me, make me the bad guy. I don't care. I'm not stepping on that field until I get a fully guaranteed deal. Now, I don't care how you manipulate it or how you do it, but I want a fully guaranteed deal. Because the risk that you take is just too great, and it's not worth it. This young man, Hamlin, he's only been in the league for 2 seasons. You got to be in the league for a minimum of 3 just to qualify for a pension. So he's not going to be eligible for a pension. And you can best believe that once the smoke dies down or clears on this and the noise dies down, the Bills in the NFL will discard him like used paper. Okay? Like used garbage. They're going to discard him. Because why? Now he's a liability to them. He's no longer an asset. And I always like to talk about assets and liabilities because at the end of the day, you're either an asset or you're a liability. Okay? And if you're no longer an asset to them, they discard you and it's merciless. And so for this young man, he's going to have to now live the rest of his life. And the most he would have made is even less than $1 million. Think about it. In career earnings, the most he would have made is less than $1 million. Or let's just call it $1 million. Let's just round it up just to be nice. That's not, and you got to survive on that for the next 30 to 50, 60, 70 years. That's not a lot of money. Okay? So luckily, and it sounds like from the stories that his mother valued education. So assuming he comes out of this okay and can live a normal life, he should be okay because at least he got an education. So now he'll at least be able to make money in other areas because you can best believe the NFL will not take care of him. It's a blood sport. It's a merciless sport. And unfortunately, history tells us that they do not do right by their players. And now Jerry Jones recently talked about, because they recently expanded to 17 games. And my friend said, that's a prelude. So I got to give my shout out to my friend Rob, who said, it's a prelude to them going to an 18-game schedule. And so Jerry Jones just mentioned an 18-game schedule. If I'm those players, I am not going to an 18-game schedule unless this would be the only way I would do such a thing. All contracts, that means for any player who plays at the NFL, their contracts must be fully guaranteed. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. I don't care if you're the last Mr. Irrelevant or you're the top guy on the team. Those contracts must be fully guaranteed because this is ridiculous. Because that's really the only money that they can really rely on. They can't rely on the NFL. History has told us that. The NFL will not do right by them. Okay? And I just wanted to come on and make this quick video on that, and have a blessed day.